Welcome in to another edition of the Pick a Side podcast. Week 17, we are not doing the full slate today. We are also not addressing college because we have a week and a half to do that.
Yeah.
Because the schedule is ridiculous and absurd. So we are just sticking to NFL Christmas Day. Do you want to touch on the Saturday games at all? Or you want to wait till later in the week?
No, let's wait till Friday.
And before we get to the games, these Christmas Day games are awful.
This is not what the NFL signed up for this year.
No.
I don't know how you couldn't flex option some of these games, but because there is a rule now that you can flex certain Christmas or certain Thursday games with enough notice. And you could have seen this coming down the way with teams like Washington, and even at a certain point with Minnesota. I feel like you could have. You're obviously not yanking Dallas, or you're not yanking Kansas City. But
boy, do they wish they did yank Kansas City.
Yeah.
Because of all the games here, Kansas City and Denver is by far the least interesting.
Mm-hmm. Because you know what's funny? You look at these games, I'm just looking on Action Network. They have the preseason lines on them, the way look-ahead lines when it came out. Dallas was a 5.5-point dog at Washington. They are now 7-point favorites on the road. Detroit is a 6-point favorite. They opened as a 2.5-point favorite. That's completely quarterback related. And then you've got Denver, who was a 4.5-point dog in the preseason and is now a 12.5-point road dog, or road favorite, I should say.
Yeah, and you also have
17-point flip.
4 of the 6 teams playing on Christmas Day are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, and Detroit is so mathematically improbable to make it, you could basically say 5 of the 6 teams are eliminated.
Yeah.
We're watching a slate of 3 games that's going to include 5 non-playoff teams, and it gets worse. It's also going to include some of the worst quarterback play imaginable. You're going to get treated too. In the opening game on Christmas Day, you sit down with your ham and your family, and you get Josh Johnson coming out of the tunnel for the Washington Commanders. Oh, but don't worry, that's just to whet your appetite. Because then at 3:30, you're getting treated to Max Brosmer walking out to Skull Chance in Minnesota. And if that wasn't good enough for you, who the fuck is Chris Oladokun? Chris Olajuwon playing quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs against Denver, and the Chiefs are mathematically eliminated. Is Taylor Swift going to go to the game?
No chance.
I need as many dejected Travis Kelce shots as I can get. The only reason to watch this game is to see, can we get another Selena Gomez, can't believe what she's seeing in the suite with Taylor Swift? I would love that.
I mean, the NFL, these games had so much potential you'd think at least one, even preseason, you'd think one of the 3, at worst, one of the 3 was going to have a big game feel to it. And none of them do.
No.
None of them. I may treat this like the NBA and not even watch it.
I mean,
for the Christmas slate.
Detroit, Minnesota, at least Detroit will be playing before any of the teams that control their destiny. So, to an extent, they control their own here. Mm-hmm. Get a win, and you'll at least know you're alive until the Packers kick off on Saturday.
Yeah.
But Detroit's probably eliminated anyway. None of these games are huge. That's just the only stakes that exist is if Detroit loses, they're dead.
Yeah.
There are no stakes in any other games, except if you are interested in the 1-seed race in the AFC, which, by the way, we didn't do a recap. For a while, the NFC playoff picture was the much more gross one because it felt like making the playoffs in the NFC was going to be a nightmare. Detroit's collapse has kind of changed that, where we know now what teams are going to make it, and it feels like the right teams are going to get in.
Yeah.
The AFC playoff picture is different, not in the sense that we don't know who's going to get in, but the race for the 1 seed in the NFC, or in the AFC rather, the Chargers currently are the 5. They're in play for the 1. Buffalo, the 6, is in play for the 1. New England, obviously in play for the 1. Everybody in the AFC could get the 1 seed.
That's kind of how it is in the NFC, too. Chicago could get the 1. Seattle could get the 1. San Francisco can get the 1. Los Angeles can get the 1.
So there are stakes in the regard, Denver playing Kansas City. Denver loses, and the door swings wide open for Jacksonville, for New England, for the Chargers, for Buffalo. Like, the Chargers can still win the West. If the Chargers win out, they will be the AFC West champions.
Boy. No tackles and AFC champions.
Now, I don't love their shot against the Texans this week because playing without your the Chargers are 2.5-point favorites on Saturday, but playing without your tackles against Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson,
Godspeed.
I saw it against the Chiefs when the Texans were a slight dog going to Arrowhead.
Yeah.
And I said the same thing. You don't have tackles and you're going against that pass rush and that defense. God bless you. I feel the same way on Saturday. Not to tip my hand, but I'd be stunned if I don't end up with a bet on Houston. As far as Christmas Day goes, I mean, we can just get into it. Dallas and Washington. Dallas is 7-point road favorite. Obviously, quarterback play is going to be a factor here. Dallas offense very good. Washington defense very bad. Washington, maybe it's Mariota, but it seems unlikely because they went out and signed Jeff Driscoll, which leads you to believe Josh Johnson is your starting quarterback.
Yeah.
If that's the case, like, I don't want to bet the game, but it would have to be Dallas, right?
The only way I could bet it is Dallas. I'd probably lean to the under because as bad as Dallas's defense is, what the hell is Washington going to do? Like, what are they going to possibly swing together to inspire, even if it is Mariota? Do you feel offensively inspired with either quarterback?
No, and if Jeff Driscoll has to check into the game, forget it.
Yeah.
But Dallas's defense, we know, is horrific.
It is horrific. I think even though their defense hasn't been good this year, Washington at least has a defensive-minded head coach who I think is still coaching for pride. He ain't getting fired, nor should he be getting fired, or even talked about in that sort of way. But I think there's at least a sense of pride with Washington's defense, even though it's not very good.
There's also Dallas has just let go of the rope. They had they got eliminated, and then you could tell they knew they got eliminated when they played the Chargers. There was no interest in that game. Chargers housed them, and I don't even think the Chargers are all that good with the injuries that they've sustained up front. How you could ever lay 7 points? Like, you can't bet this game.
No. It's unbettable. People are going to because it's Christmas Day, and there's nothing else really going on, but I don't know if I'm going to watch this game. I at least won't feel bad missing it if I do.
Okay, the Detroit and Minnesota I do want to talk about a little bit because Detroit laying 6 I think is outrageous. The way their defense is played, and I know 500 yards to the Rams, Seattle gave up 500 yards to the Rams. A lot of teams are going to give up 400 plus to the Rams.
Yeah.
The Rams are really good. You give up 500 to the Steelers at home, and I know you've liked them all season. I've liked them all season. Do we have a Kelvin Shepard problem? The fuck are they coordinating?
Okay.
I know they're banged up beyond belief and they don't have a pass rush, but you give up 500 yards to Pittsburgh and 200 plus on the ground. Pittsburgh can't run the ball. They're dead last in time of possession. And you let them walk in and own the football against you, including a 9-minute drive where they ran it down your throat?
I think it is more of the chef is working with bad ingredients here than anything else on the Kelvin Shepard front. But that game was inexcusable. At least the volume of the yardage and Aaron Rodgers turning back the clock a little bit, and then the run game doing what it did, and just the totality of what Kenneth Gainwell did too. It wasn't just on the ground with him. He was, and he's their leading receiver too. He went out there and put up a big number in the receiving category as well. So I don't know if Max Brosmer is going to be able to get his guys the ball, but if he is, then I wouldn't be shocked if Minnesota outright pulled an upset. I don't have any faith in this Minnesota offense, given what it is. On the flip side, defensively, I think they can at least slow down Detroit. So this is actually the only play I have for any of the games. I'm going under 44.5 in Minnesota and Detroit on Christmas Day.
I actually don't hate it because I think if you made me bet the game, it would be Minnesota or nothing.
And it's a divisional matchup between coaches who have a little bit of tenure too now.
The reason I won't bet Minnesota is the Max Brosmer side of things.
You can't lay money on him.
I have no idea what Max Brosmer is going to offer, and I'm getting inside a touchdown to do it. There's no way I'm taking 6 points with Minnesota. I may join you on the under, and the thought process is pretty simple. Minnesota, despite being bad, has won 3 straight games. Brian Flores is coordinating a good defense, and they have good pieces on that defense. Detroit's offense, if you just looked at the box score, you would say, wow, they had a great day against the Steelers. One problem, they didn't. They sucked offensively against the Steelers. And I get what happens at the end of the game. They open it up. It's empty backfield. You're ripping the ball because, dude, they had 15 rushing yards. 15 rushing yards in a game in the NFL. Mm-hmm. They were horrid. They had 10 points with 5 minutes left.
Not just 15 rushing yards. 15 rushing yards with maybe the best running back in the NFC this year, if not the entire league, and Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, how does that happen?
The stat line that Jared Goff put up was unbelievably fake. And people get mad because they're like, oh, 34 or 54 for 360, 3 touchdowns and no picks. How could that possibly be fake? Because you couldn't do anything when the game was actually in the balance.
Yeah.
Nothing. They had 10 points with 5 minutes left. They couldn't run the ball. They touched the ball. They had all of 3 plays run in the third quarter. They are not functioning well as an offense because the interior of their O-line can't protect anybody, and they can't run the football. So I just kind of start looking at this, and I think you're on the right side of it, and I'm going to join you. Under 44.5 is going to be a Christmas Day play for me in Minnesota and Detroit. I like what Flores is doing on the Minnesota side defensively, and I don't think Detroit's offense is anything special right now. No. And Dan Campbell calling the plays, I don't think he's capable of it. No. He's got to get back to his CEO role.
Mm-hmm. He's got to find a new OC this offseason.
It's such a gut check offseason for the Lions because everything that they've said, and this is a lot of what we talked about early in the year when we said, like, betting them to miss the playoffs might be valuable because it feels like they got addicted to the smell of their own brand. They wanted to do everything their way, pay all their own guys, not get any outside help. Like Marcus Davenport was a good enough option opposite Aiden Hutchinson. They were happy with Aleem McNeil. The offensive line, they felt like Tate Ratledge could fill in. Newsflash, he can't. They couldn't sustain the loss of Ragnow. They had nothing in place for it. It's a gut check offseason. You got to hire an OC, and you got to fix your O-line, and you got to find Aiden Hutchinson some help. Otherwise, this is just the future of what they're going to be.
Yeah, they'll never get back to what their window could have been.
All right, Denver, Kansas City, line move just now. It was 12.5, and now I'm seeing a 13.
Oof. Have fun.
It's a hugely public side. Everybody's betting Denver, laying 2 touchdowns on the road at Arrowhead. I don't know what version of Bo Nix I'm getting on a week-in, week-out basis. And despite what Kansas City is, their ability to score is like nothing. And I don't know what the hell you do with Chris Oladokun. But I can't bet Denver. There's no way.
All right, I'm just saying this right now. Can I throw a prop your way? What about Chris Oladokun's rushing over 14.5? You know that Denver's going to get pressure. He's going to eject early. And he's just going to stumble. He's going to fall forward for 14.5 yards in this game.
What the fuck?
It's not like we're dealing with college where sacks are rushing loss. I'm just throwing something your way because, like, at a certain point, I'd like to have some action throughout the day, but maybe I just don't need to.
Yeah, like, honestly, if you're sitting at home, 7:15 Christmas night, you're full off Christmas dinner, you've imbibed a little bit, you've had a few beers, you're hanging out with the family, put Home Alone on, dude. Like, put Die Hard on your TV.
What the hell?
What are you going to watch Denver and Kansas City for with Akeem Olajuwon's nephew playing quarterback for the Chiefs? What are we talking about? Why is anybody going to watch this? This is, look.
Amazon got their money's worth last week with the Rams-Seahawks game and just sent it right back this week.
Christmas Day last year worked beautifully for the NFL. Yeah. This year, not so much. Nope. This is a disaster of a Christmas Day slate.
Yeah.
This is the risk you run when you have to schedule them way out in advance and Netflix buys the rights to the games, which I have to imagine that plays a part in making it more difficult to flex.
But shouldn't it make it easier? Like Netflix should be able to say, hey, yeah, we actually want this game now.
Yeah, but the problem is you have to take it from Fox or CBS or NBC.
Netflix is paying so much money for 2 games.
I don't know how the contracts work. I'm just trying, like, what would be the reason for not flexing Baltimore, Green Bay? You're never flexing Sunday Night Football, and especially not a good matchup in Sunday Night Football, so Bears-Niners is off the table. What if they tried to flex Eagles-Bills, which would make sense? Fox would say, get the fuck out of here, right? Like, you're not taking that off our slate.
I guess.
Why? So we can do Denver and Kansas City at 325? We don't want that.
Yeah. Jeez.
Like, that's got to be the problem.
That's the problem. Like, you get late in the season and
There's too many bad games. This is
the shocking thing is that there's not a single good one. Because, like, preseason, these are 3 great matchups.
Yeah.
Great matchups. And now you get to this point in the season, and it's like, really? Not one of these is anything appetizing, even slightly? Everything here is a touchdown or longer spread?
It's just the inherent risk of doing the Christmas Day slate because you are guaranteeing 3 island games on Christmas Day in the final 2 weeks of the season when the majority of the games are going to be bad. Like we're just at that point where there are mathematically you're not going to get good teams facing off against each other as often.
But the thing is, like, you have your pick of the litter this week.
I think a better scheduling idea, honestly, backload all the divisional games. Just these final 2 weeks, just make them divisional games. The chances of them being high stakes would be infinitely higher.
Yeah.
And as a fan, I'm cool with the most meaningful games coming at the end of the year. When
Here's
if
the
you're
thing.
good, you should be playing your best.
All 3 of these are divisional games.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, there's nothing they could have done.
We tried.
What a disaster. All right, that'll be it for Pick a Side this week. We will see you later in the week. Full breakdown for the entire slate of the NFL. Wishing you a Merry Christmas. Good luck. Win all your bets. Happy holidays to everybody. This has been another edition of the Pick a Side podcast.